Wants to get admitted. So everyone, thank you so much for joining this webinar. This webinar is about mastering document management. This is my picture right here. I am Adriana Wang, the marketing executive for Inova Solutions. First of all, happy Thanksgiving. It's the last Thursday of the month. I hope you all will have lovely dinners tonight with family and friends. I will like to introduce Jasper Krag. He will be the presenter for this webinar, as he is the master brain in our company for these topics. If I will be recording this webinar, it will be available in our website for if you want to share it with your colleagues. Again, thank you for joining us, and Jasper, take over.
Okay, good morning for you. It's good afternoon for me. I'm doing this from Amsterdam, and I think that's rather funny because this is the third webinar we do out of a series, and the first one I did from Atlanta in Georgia, United States. The second one was from Jamaica while I was delivering an Azure training, and now this one comes from Amsterdam. Actually, I live on Aruba, but for me it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's getting dark over here. It's about 6 degrees, so I'm very happy to go back to Aruba Saturday. So another 2 days over here, and well, this is what we will do. So please forgive me if every now and then I will say good afternoon or something like that, because for me it's the day is almost over. I want to do some stuff on, well, document management, but more from a practical point of view. So, hey, what can you do as an end user with the technology that is available? So it's not really a deep drill into real document management, although every now and then I will mention some things about it. I call myself a solution architect at Inova Solutions, and I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, and I have a lot of other Microsoft certifications as well. During the presentation, I will switch every now and then out of PowerPoint into a real-time demo. And I hope that every now and then someone will say, hey, stop, you're going too fast, because we might have some latency in screen refresh and stuff like that. So let's just start with some very simple basic things on Office. So we use Office a lot. We use Word, we use Excel, we use PowerPoint, Outlook, or whatever. So I'm gonna focus on Word and a little bit on, no, my examples are Word only, but it really doesn't matter. So it's very funny. I noticed that a lot of organizations or a lot of users, they save files as PDF, and then they send it as an attachment to whoever. But my question nowadays is, why do you save files as a PDF? And in the old days, like 10 years ago, it was pretty hard to open a PDF file. But nowadays, with Office 2013 or Office 2016, you can just open a PDF and edit the thing. So that argument is no longer valid, and we have a very nice option in Word nowadays, and that is called Mark as Final. So on the right hand side on the screen, you will see that as the first option, Mark as Final. And that means if the author of the document marks a document as final, every other user that will open the document will see that. And if you then change something in the document or tamper with the document, other users will also see that. Hey, this document was marked as final by Jasper, but it has been altered since it was marked as final. So that is a nice alternative for saving your files both as a Word document and as a PDF. And you can just, if you mark it as final, you can just send the Word document to your relation. So mark as final, it will restrict editing. It is not really security. So it is still possible to edit the document and change the content and whatever, but all the users that will open the document will see that notification that it was marked as final and it has been changed since then. So actually what happens is that you invalidate the mark as final. I will show this one in the real interface in just a second. Then we have something that is called rights management. That has been out there for over 10 years, but a lot of people don't know that it was out there for that long. But with rights management, we can actually restrict what people can do with Office documents. And the nice thing about it is that it doesn't matter where the document sits. So that security, that restricted access applies to files that sit as an attachment in an email or sit on a USB device or on a removable hard drive. It really doesn't matter. The security stays with the document wherever it sits. And then we can take it even a step further. You can assign digital signatures to users. So then you can digitally sign your Office documents, and that means in a lot of situations that we can actually move to a paperless Office. Nowadays we still have a lot of documents and we need a signature and blah blah, and I think for certainly for, or definitely for all kind of internal documents, that a digital signature that is verifiable does the trick. And I think also in a lot of even relations with customers, the legal status of digital signatures is improving rapidly throughout the world. So those are nice options, and has nothing to do really with document management, but it's really about, hey, how do you use your tools? How do you use Office? How do you use Word? So let's have a quick look in how that looks in the real interface. So here I have my Word document. Is the screen refresh okay? Can somebody shout something to me, because I don't see the instant message?
It's okay.
It's okay.
Yes.
Okay, then I can continue. So this is just a Word document. I opened it in Word, and if I go to info, here I have that protect documents thing, and if I click on that restrict, oh, my document is open somewhere else as well, so I cannot even do that because I have this document prepared for another demo as well. But the thing with the restricted access is, so I'll just switch back to my slideshow. Oh, one back. With that right management, that so you can say people can read the file, but they cannot copy and paste out of it. They cannot edit the file, or you can set an expiration date so that the document is unable to open after 10 days or 3 months or whatever. And what users and companies should really understand, because I think that is the most relevant part of right management, that the protection sticks with the document wherever it sits. So IT departments, they think, hey, my files are safe as long as they sit in my file server, because I own the file. But what happens when users start sending Office documents as email attachments, or they put it on their thumb drives, or take it on their laptop or their home computer? Then IT departments are totally out of control on protecting that content, because they cannot manage that. And with right management, IT departments will still be able to manage files, because of course we can automate right management. If you put your file in that directory, then right management will be applied
Jasper,
automatically. Yeah.
sorry I disturbed you. There are people that are not hearing the audio. I have 3 guests. Anything
You
maybe
have.
that? Yes.
Okay. What can we do about that? Because that means at least that it's not on my side, because then nobody would hear me.
Exactly. There are
Uh,
some.
I would suggest for those people that, so if you can type that in, that they leave the meeting, fix their audio, and then join the meeting again.
All right. Let me write that up. Thank you.
Yeah. Then I will continue. Okay, digital signature, we did that. So when we talk document management, immediately I think SharePoint. So probably a lot of companies are still on file servers, and you have your files on your local machine, so you work with Windows Explorer and your folder structure. I always say, and Adriana knows that very well, that is so 1987. That is really old style, moving your files and folders around. So here I have an example. So I have a couple of folders and subfolders in there, and I have a dilemma, because I have a file that's called budget fiscal year 17 Jamaica, but where should I put it in this file structure? Should I put that in budgets, or should I put it in fiscal year 17, or should I put it in the folder Jamaica under territories? Of course, it doesn't make sense to copy the file 3 times and put it in 3 places, because what happens then if I change something? Then I would need to change that in 3 places. And I think SharePoint has a very perfect solution for that. And that is called metadata. So in the screenshot at the bottom of the page, you see that I have that file name there, and I added some properties. So I have the property called fiscal year, and I have the property location, and I have the type of document, and in this situation it will be budget. And then when I open my browser, I can select and sort on each of those columns. So I can put 10,000 files into one SharePoint library. Let's call it a SharePoint folder. I can put 10,000 files in there, and just by clicking, selecting and sorting on the column headers, I can reduce that list to the 3 files that I may be looking for. And that is something that is absolutely not possible in a folder structure. Then I would just have to drill down into each folder. Oh, it's not there. Move back up again. Go 1 position down and drill into the subfolder and the subfolder and the subfolder. So this is really very, very easy to manage your documents, and it makes finding and searching for documents way easier. So this is, for me, when we talk document management, I think this is one of the most powerful tools that is available in SharePoint. And when I say SharePoint, I both address to SharePoint on-premises or SharePoint online, because this is just out of the box SharePoint, and this works very nice. So you can make fields mandatory or not mandatory. You can allow people to put in their own values. I don't do that. I say no, we have fiscal years. And they are just numbered fiscal year 10 up to fiscal year 20, and you cannot fill in anything else in there. And I do the same for locations, and I do the same for type of document, because otherwise people will fill in they will make spelling errors and stuff like that, and then of course the whole system will not work. So let's move on to another example. In Office documents, well, that is, if your Office documents sit in SharePoint, you can share that document right out from the document. So all the Office applications, they have a share button, and there I can just share the document with people inside or outside my organization. I can say, hey, you are able to edit this one, or you are just able to read and view this one. But I don't have to close the document and save it and then put it as an attachment in an email or whatever. I can just do it like this, and the people I invite, they will receive an email with a link in there. They click the link and they can open the document with whatever permissions I set here for those users. So that's just a neat little trick that makes it possible that you don't have to switch applications, going from your file server to your Outlook back to the document and save it and make sure it sits in the file server, and then open your Outlook and then attach the file as an attachment into your email. This is very fluid and transparent on sharing documents. I just move along. Oh, this is something I want to show. We have something, so I will just end this session and I open my Word document. So I can share a document and work simultaneously in the same document with multiple people. So over here I'm logged in as, let me see if I can enlarge that a little bit. I'm logged in as Jasper Kraak. That is my real name, but also I have this one open over here where I am logged on. Let's blow that up a little bit. Where I'm logged on as admin Jasper, and there you see it already. Jasper Kraak is also editing. So we can work in the same document simultaneously. That is to say, you cannot work in the same paragraph, but you can work in the same document. And I think for a lot of organizations that work with deadlines or whatever, and then at 3 o'clock on Thursday afternoon, everybody has to put his final remarks in the document. Hey, with SharePoint and collaboration, you can work in that same document together with multiple people. And that is, and you can actually see what happens. So if you have large documents of 80 pages, then hey, you can work with 6 or 7 people simultaneously in the same document, instead of having versions and sending them back and forth in email attachments, and then finally somebody has to copy paste everything into one final version. In this situation, that is not necessary. So let's just, as admin Jasper, just type something over here. Let's see if that's Jasper Kraak who is typing over there. So I have to move to over here, and I can just start typing over there. And then I move back over here, and that should pop up in a little while. Otherwise, I'll just refresh this. Oh, it's not popping up yet. That is not good for a demo. Oh, I have to edit the document, of course. And there is my little text that Jasper Kraak has been typing in. Also in here you see Word Online. So that is Word in a browser. I think that is for a lot of the normal end users. That is a very good alternative for having the complete Office suite. Because in Word Online and Excel Online and Outlook Online, you have like 80% of the functionality of the big applications. You have 80% available of the features in the online versions, and then all you need is a browser, so you get a very consistent way of working across multiple devices like Windows devices or Apple devices or even your mobile devices or your tablets. All you need is a browser, and you get Word with the document in there, even with the graphics and the pictures and stuff like that. So I think that's a very nice alternative as well. So let's move on in here from current slide. So we did the co-authoring. Another nice thing we have and I have here another example, not specifically on documents, but this is from a holiday planner. But you could do the same with a document. You can create workflows, because you will find out in your organizations that there's a lot of procedures that first person A have to do something with a document, and then it goes to person B, and person B has to do something with the document, and then person C has to do something with it, and then it can be marked as final, and it can be archived, something like that. So over here I have a little example of a workflow for vacation. So I just put in, hey, Jasper is going on vacation to the USA, and I leave on December 12th, and I come back on December 23rd, and the total number of vacation days is 10, and the first day back at work will be December 27th. And then on the right-hand side, you see, okay, so who has to approve this vacation? That is my CEO, Hans. And then later on, Amy, who works in the finance department, she also has to approve when she has done the administration portion of me taking a vacation. And on the left-hand side, if I click Save, then that will automatically trigger the workflow. So then first Hans will receive an email, and that email only contains a approve or reject button. So he can approve, and then Amy will receive an email as well, and she only has a reject or approve button. So imagine doing stuff like this with your documents, with your procedures that go from one desk to another desk. Hey, you can automate that by using workflows on SharePoint. Search. On file servers, it's pretty hard to really search for documents, and it's a very basic search. And over here I just have an example of SharePoint Search, which actually gives you a very rich experience so I searched here for the words Core I/O, and I searched for PowerPoint presentations, and immediately it will browse my whole data collection for everything that matches, and I can even make that more granular. I can pick an author, or I can say, hey, it must have been modified in the last 3 months or whatever. And as soon as I hover over something, I immediately get a preview of the file. And I can even browse through it without opening the file. So you see there are very little at the bottom, PowerPoint slide 1 of 14, and in this view I could just go through the whole PowerPoint presentation without actually opening it. See if I have the correct one, or maybe I need to redefine my search. Then we have something, and I think that is even better, because we use the word search engine, but actually we don't want to search, we want to find. And on the Office 365 platform, we have something that is called Delve. And Delve works with machine learning, so it's the results that you see in Delve get better over time. And Delve will just look at, hey, who are the persons in your organization you collaborate with? And what are they working on? And maybe that is relevant for you. So in this picture, I just clicked on my colleague Jeroen, and Delve will put in my face the documents that he has been working on that may be relevant to me. And as I said, because it's based on machine learning, the results get better and better and better. And of course, it also says you only see documents that you have access to. So if Jeroen puts his file somewhere in a location where I don't have access permissions, then they won't pop up in Delve. But Delve is really, it's a find engine. It's not a search engine. It's very easy to very quickly find the stuff that your colleagues are working on. And we're already through.
All right, thank you, Jasper.
That was 24 minutes, so I think I'm right on time.
You're perfect on time. Before we go into our Q&A, I really would like to encourage you to fill in our survey. We do this with much love and we'd like to hear your feedback. So I just shared the link. You can. It takes about 2 minutes. Go ahead and fill in the survey. Our Q&A starts now. So Jasper, before we continue, I encourage everyone who has a question, just ask. Unmute yourself. It's nice to hear some voices besides Jasper and I. But so Navita asked this question: what version of SharePoint are these features available in?
These features are available, what I just showed, in on-premises SharePoint 2010, 2013, and 2016, because it wasn't really very spectacular in the latest and the greatest, and it's available in SharePoint Online as well.
All right. So a couple of years ago, when we went into Office 365, I had a couple of issues, of course, because this is something new and people don't like too much new things. So when using SharePoint, what internet browsers are supported by SharePoint?
Currently, all the browsers that are supported by their vendors. So if Apple still supports Safari 4.0, then SharePoint will be supporting Safari 4.0. Now I go way back because I know that Safari 4.0 is not even supported any longer by Apple. So we have to go up a couple of versions. And the same applies to Microsoft. So with Internet Explorer 6 or 7, you are in a bad situation. But then you would be in a bad situation, period, because that means you would be running Windows XP, and you don't want to be there.
Okay. All right. And one of the other question is, what if I don't want to edit my files in the web browser? Can I edit them using my client application?
Yeah, sure. You have a choice in SharePoint. When you click on a file, at first it will open in view only, and then you have the option open in browser or open in Word.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
A very important question here. What if I lose my internet connection while I'm working in SharePoint? Is my work still saved? Sometimes that happens.
Yeah, well, that really depends. So you can have you can synchronize files so that you actually work locally on your files, and then the stuff will get synced when your internet connection is back online. Actually, I'm not a fan of synchronizing. I think that files, corporate content should not sit on local devices. It's a security issue. It's dangerous. And I also think that internet quality throughout, even also in the Caribbean, in most organizations, internet connectivity is decent enough that you can just work online.
All right.
And sure, it happens every now and then that your connection is lost, and so that's something that all individual companies or even individual users should decide for themselves. Hey, do I want to synchronize files so that I can work offline, or do I just work in the browser? There's another reason for me saying this, especially for organizations. You have to realize that if you work locally in Word, you are downloading and uploading the complete file.
Correct.
Every time. And as long as you work in Word online, all the bits and the bytes of the file stay online. So from a bandwidth perspective for an organization, you better work in the browser.
All right, thank you. I have another question from Navita. Can one user delete the other user data while co-authoring?
Yeah, definitely. So you can really be mean to each other. So somebody writes down a nice paragraph, and as soon as as that person leaves that paragraph, because the paragraph is locked until the user leaves that paragraph, and then it's open for other users to go in there again, and you can just hit the delete tools and delete all the stuff. Yeah, but that is the same with if the document would sit in a file server. If I close the document and you open it, you can really mess up my document.
But good that we have history, version history.
Yeah,
right?
we have version history, so you can always go back to a previous version, no problem.
All right, I have a question from Carolyn. Thank you for the question. This is the question. Any new features for 2016 with respect to search and metadata?
Not really. If you go to, so I guess you're talking about SharePoint 2016 on-prem, and in that perspective, they made some major improvements on the SQL Server backend, so that searches will perform faster, but the whole technology is pretty much the same as in SharePoint 2013.
All right, thank you. Does this answer your question, Carolyn? Okay, so Jonathan has some. Hey, thank you so much, everyone. It's very interesting.
I love this question. I really love this question because I'm in an argument with my colleague who is online as well, Christian. Good afternoon. No, you should not use folders on SharePoint. Folders are folders and are 1987, and in SharePoint you use document sets, and even that you don't have to use that. You can put 10,000 files into one library, and if you work correctly with your metadata, you will find your file with 3 mouse clicks. So no folders on SharePoint.
Thank you. Jasper, can you put the presentation back on? Because I think we're getting to to the end of this webinar. Does anyone has any questions? Please feel free to ask. Now is your time. We have Jasper the Guru. Okay, we have Edsel. Thank you, Edsel. Can you show an example of your SharePoint without folders? Oh, that's a good one, Edsel.
Yeah, I can do that.
Go ahead.
I can do that. Let's go to SharePoint and let's go to our document center. And I have a nice example of.
Don't worry too much, Jonathan. The document sets are pretty much similar as the look and feel as a folder.
Exactly.
Yeah. Changes happen.
So here we have. This is the icon. I hope that you can see it. I will zoom in a little bit. So these are the icons for a document set, and actually they behave exactly like a folder. So I can open 1, 2, 3 test, and in 1, 2, 3 test I have a couple of documents in there. And the thing is, if I would have used folders, then I could not make the selection, because the selection and sorting of files, it does not go through folders, and it does go through document sets. And if I'm not mistaken, let me see, files, I even, for all our users, I grayed out the option of creating folders. Because my users are very stubborn and they want to have folders. So hey, I'm the admin, so I just grayed out the button. They are not able to create folders.
I'm guilty as well.
Jasper, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, okay. So Jonathan, I think one of the concepts that for me was pivotal in accepting the no folder concept is, for me, the idea of this metadata on the side, I didn't see much of a difference between what that was bringing to the table from a folder. But one of the concepts that's different is the search feature that that spans more than what just a folder can bring to the table. So a folder is just going to work within this one view, but that metadata is actually going to allow functionality across just the one view. So it's going to span far more than just the reach of what one folder in one spot's going to bring. there's a lot more functionality that it brings to the table as a search item.
Exactly. So when I click here on something over here, so I can say, hey, I can sort then ascending or descending, but I can also really make selections. Only show me all the documents with that are categorized as budget. And then I go to my next column of fiscal year and I say, and I only want to see them out of fiscal year 16. And that is something you cannot do on a file server. That is something you cannot do in a folder structure.
Correct.
All right. Do we have any more questions? Because we still have 5 more minutes, so I think we should start wrapping up. I think we are out of questions.
Yeah, the create new document sets is under the new document button in the menu.
Exactly. And we have a lot of templates in here as well, but the create document set is there as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I would, if I really do some customization, I could change this icon into a new document set. But I think, hey, it's out of the box, so it's okay if it just sits over here.
All right, thank you. Back to the PowerPoint deck, please.
Yeah. One slide further? This one or this one?
Yes. One back, please. So, well, your route was actually going to be this.
12.
So, our next webinar will be January 26th. Okay, just stop right there. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. Jeroen.
One up.
So we have it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I would like to thank everybody for attending. There's a great turnout. I hope it was valuable for everyone. As we said, we regularly try on a monthly basis schedule the webinars with various topics. If you have any feedback on topics, if you'd like to see topics, please provide us with that feedback. It's very welcome. Of course, we'd like to learn from you what where your needs lie and how you experience these webinars. The great turnout already gives us some indication. Now, with regards to this particular topic, I'd like to add that deploying a document management solution is more than the bare technology. It is very much so about what processes do you use internally and what would you like to use internally. You have to analyze your existing documents, how you process currently, and how you would like to change that internally. So document management, and it goes for SharePoint as well, it's a lot about how do we use documents, what process do we have, what workflows do we connect to it. First, you need to have actually everything designed before you're going to fully deploy. Of course, you can deploy it out of the box and take it from there, but it's always advisable to take a good look before you deploy such a solution as to, okay, what is it exactly that we're going to use and how we're going to use it. That is something that I'd like to add to this presentation.
And then, of course, if I can interrupt you, Jeroen, you're in the Netherlands, by the way. Anyway, you're around the corner or somewhere?
I'm back home already. I returned yesterday.
Okay. No, so what is also important when moving to document management on whatever platform is that you really touch on the way people work, because we have been working now with folders and Word and local copies and whatever for over 20 years. So the adoption of moving to a document management system or SharePoint or whatever other system, that really requires some time and some training for your end users to get to know that. I've seen a lot of SharePoint projects fail because, hey, me as a technician, I can build you a fantastic SharePoint farm over the weekend, and then I post an email to everybody, hey, we have SharePoint right now, and then 3 months later I found out that nobody's using it because nobody told them how to use it.
Yes. Yes, and so, for instance, tagging documents and providing with keywords, and then you can use the keywords that you choose when you create a document, or select a number of preset tags. So that's something that will be new for users. but once they, because most users will perceive it like what's in it for me, once they start seeing the advantage as to how easy you can find documents and structure more than they used to in the old file system and folder system, then they'll really adopt faster. So training is really imperative when you start deploying something like this.
Thank you. Our time is up. Too bad.
Yeah, having said that, we'd like to wrap up, and we'd like to invite all of you to, if you'd like to see a more enhanced demo or a particular section that you'd like to learn more from, please don't hesitate to let us know, to schedule a live online one-on-one session. You can do a similar Skype for Business or any other platform that you've like to do a demo and demonstrate just more of SharePoint, what's where and how it works.
Thank you very much.
Yes, that email, you can email Adriana. Her email address is on here, of course, and you received her emails before.
Yes. And what I want to close with is our next webinar. It will not be next month because it's a very busy month. Next month where everyone will be maybe on holidays and so. So our next webinar will be January 22nd is the next slide. And the subject will be Essential Tools for Productivity. We will send you the invitation by email as normally. So thank you everyone for attending. And we wish to see you on January 26th as well.
Well, let's take it long. Well, Happy New Year already.
Exactly.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Happy Thanksgiving. We have Santa Claus and Christmas.
Yes, Thanksgiving is also around here.
We'll see you in 2 months.
Yes. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for your time.